Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Notably Nigerian. I am your hostess, Akunna, and we are back this week with another amazing Nigerian artist who is making waves not only in her region but all around. Now, I first connected with her about a year and a half ago, I believe. And at first, I was just seeing a young student who was into ceramics. And I was really excited about that because I did ceramics in high school and I absolutely loved it. So since then, she has graduated. She's working on some new series, and I'm excited to dive into conversation with her today. So without further ado, let's invite Chinenye Eze on. We've been having some tech issues, so I said a little prayer. I'm trusting that we'll be all good. Can you all hear me? That's number one. Can you hear me? Because apparently the audio was not good last time. Can you drop something? Okay, I see a fire emoji. I think that means you can hear me. But just to make sure you weren't just dropping the fire emoji for me, can you type in the chat if you can hear me, just so I could be sure? 100%. Awesome. Okay. So now we just have to get the guest on. Come on. Let her in. Okay. Is this how it's gonna happen today, Instagram? Unable to join. Why? 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 I'm trying to send another invite right now to see if that helps. I don't know. I don't know why this is not working. It just says unable to join. This happened to me once before, and then we rescheduled for like the next week and it worked. But I still don't know what the issue was on the day. Just like I don't know what's going on right now. Okay, I received an invitation. I accepted it. Let's see. So, while we wait, this is episode 4. You're here. It's so right when you said I'm here, something pops up that says you're unable to join. Does it show you that you're joining? Wait, is my audio done? Is my audio still on? It says your invitation expired. Okay, let's send another one. Okay, I just sent another invitation. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We're still having some tech issues. Yay! Oh we made it.
I'm so sorry for that. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not you. It's technology, you know. And this is what's supposed to take over the world, huh? I don't know. How are you?
I'm good. I decided to stay in my studio instead because of network issues, internet connection issues in my house. So I decided to stay here for the call.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for doing that and thank you for joining me. I was just saying in the intro how I first saw
Welcome.
your
Thank you for
page.
having me.
Yes, my pleasure. So when I first saw your page, you were still in school and you were working on ceramics and sharing, and I was just so excited, like cheering you on from from the internet.
Yeah, it can be crazy over here because of the internet. I don't know what just happened. I'm
No
sorry
worries.
about that.
No worries at all. So, let's get into it. Tell me a bit about your childhood. Where are you originally from, and how was your childhood like?
Okay. I'm from Enugu State. That's my state of origin. But I was born in River State, and I grew up in River State. Yeah.
Okay,
My primary school, secondary school, River State.
got it. Now, do you have siblings?
I do. I'm actually the last child. I have five siblings, and I'm the last child, so I.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so from your childhood, especially being the youngest, what are some of the things that you remember liking to do when you were young?
I know when I was younger, like when I was a kid, I loved to draw a lot. My
Mm,
mom would buy many pencils, and then I loved crafts. I wanted to make wooden chairs, wooden tables with the little woods I find around. And yeah, it just feels like art has been me since I was a kid, and it's just manifesting properly now, but it's been here.
yes, that's beautiful, especially hearing that your mom would buy you the different colored pencils and materials you needed to create. So it seemed like she was in support of you being into art.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom was in support. My whole family was in support, but it's just that at the point, um, it felt like art was something for the guys.
Mm,
And, I was getting some little advice. Art is for men, art is for the guys. Maybe you should do a more girly thing. And then my mom wanted me to be a nurse.
mm,
And but it didn't come out well because I wrote WAEC, my first exam, and the result was cancelled. The whole students, our results were cancelled. And then I had to rewrite the exam again, like take the exam again, and that was when I switched from science to arts because I was terrible at art, science subject. Also, my results being cancelled was more like, oh, you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be here.
yeah.
And yeah,
Right. That's what I always
yeah.
say. Like, everything happens for a reason, even when we don't know the reason, you know? So some people
Mhm.
can say, oh, that's a bad thing. Now I have to go do it again. But that was actually an opportunity for you to pivot and do what you really wanted to do. Yeah, I
Exactly.
had
Because
a,
even when it was cancelled, I was sad. Of course, I was younger, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to do what my mom wanted me to do. So when the result was cancelled, it was more like it was almost the end of the world. But I
yeah,
think if I should, I'll be like, okay, yeah,
yeah.
it needed.
It's funny. I have a similar experience. I was 17 when it was time for me to go to university, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I used to say I want to be a lawyer, but then I realized that to be a lawyer, you have to lie for people. Even if you know someone is guilty, you have to lie. And
That's
I
true,
could,
actually.
yeah, and I couldn't do it. Like once I realized that, I said no, I can't do this. So I canceled that from my mind. So when I went to university, my mom, she wanted me to be a pharmacist. Pharmacy, pharmacy, pharmacy. And I didn't really like science. I like to do the experiment, but I didn't like to write about it. So when I got to university, she came with me and she took me to the dean of the science. She said, my daughter will be a pharmacist. Put her in all the classes that will get her to be a pharmacist. So I was a chemistry. I was studying chemistry and I didn't even like it. After 2 years, I just broke down. I'm like, what am I doing here? I want to leave school.
I
I
think,
had
I
like,
think I have, I think I have a similar experience though, because I was very terrible science subjects and I hated all of them. So one day I walked up to my teacher and I was trying because I really wanted to make my mom happy. I wanted to be
yes,
a nurse.
exactly.
So I walked up to a teacher. I was asking him, so is it possible to be a science student without chemistry or physics? And when I was asking him that, I was like crying, and he was like, you just switch to art if you find science difficult,
Mhm.
but no, not all of
Yeah,
them really understand that pressure from home.
right,
But
exactly.
later though.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you switched. I ended up switching to from chemistry to criminal justice because I wanted to work with like at-risk youth. And when I switched, I almost had like perfect grades. You know, I was happier. even socially, everything went better
Yeah,
after I switched. So I'm glad that you made that decision and that you led with your heart and went for
I
your
have
passion.
to.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit. So when you were a child, you were drawing a lot, you liked crafts, you wanted to make wooden tables and things. When was it that you first touched clay?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
When was it that you first touched clay? Did
Sorry,
you?
I don't understand the question.
Oh, okay, sorry. So like when was the first time you tried ceramics and actually touched clay in your hands? Do you remember?
Oh, okay. I think that should be here in the university in my first year. I know I just chose to be a ceramist, but I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. So the first time I touched clay was in my first year, and I felt a connection with it. I love craft, but there's a sculpture section in my department and there's a ceramic section. But why I left sculpture and I chose ceramics till today I can't explain. But the first time I touched clay, it was more like I was meant to be in that space. And since then I just made a decision in my 300 left that I'm going to ceramics.
Nice. That's beautiful. So, do you remember the very first ceramic piece that you made that like all the way till the end?
The first was, I'm sorry, I don't know why it's getting a bit noisy this environment.
It's okay. It's okay. I can hear you just fine. So what do you remember the first ceramic piece that you made?
Oh, I think the first ceramic piece I made was actually in the first year. So we were asked to make a vase. Maybe we were asked to make a flower vase with using coiling method. And
Mm,
then it was my very first time using coils. I didn't know what it was about. And then I made it. And somehow it looked a bit perfect and I was so proud of myself. But only to submit to the lecturer and he was like, this is good, but I think you should just maybe do it again. I know he was trying to tell me that there's a little, he sees the effort, but maybe I should try it again. But I was so proud of myself.
yeah.
And I think that was sometime along the line it got so tough with clay actually because I think I started getting very, very used to working with clay in my 300 level. And yeah, so my first pieces were just me being, a normal student till I became yeah.
Nice. So tell me more about the shift from like the sculpture into going into ceramics. Um, is ceramics just more free, like you can make more stuff, and sculpture, like ceramics, maybe more functional things, or what's the difference?
Okay, so the difference is that although those ceramics are now transitioning from the normal traditional pottery, making of functional wares,
Hmm.
the difference is that ceramics, the major material in ceramics is clay. That's the basic material. But in
Mm-hmm.
sculpture, there are many materials. You can use
Oh.
wood, you can use metal, you can use plastics, just
Hmm.
explore many things. But in ceramic, it has to be clay. If you're adding anything, it should be adding to clay. So that's the
Mm.
difference. Yeah. And then when you're making ceramics, there are a lot of rules. Don't do this, or it will shatter in the kiln. Don't do that. If you
Yeah.
do this, I think sculpture is more flexible. Sculpture, you can just create anything you want to create without too many rules. That's the difference. They're just a little similar, but they are quite
I
different.
see. I see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Because when you were saying you made the transition in my head, when you said sculpture, I'm thinking of ceramic sculpture. But that makes sense using a lot of different material. So, tell me more about when you started using the clay and you're like, this is the medium that I want. I like this. And I know that right now you have your bone series and your belt series. But before those
Yeah.
were formed, you were working with different forms. I saw another pot that you made that had like holes in it. So tell me about the transition when you first started working with it to doing maybe the assignments that your teacher was teaching you and then forming those series. What was that process like?
Okay. So when I first majored in ceramics, that was in my 300 level. Um, it was still difficult using clay. I mean, I was just creating, trying to master the techniques. But in my department, you're celebrated when you're a serious student, you're celebrated. But you're more celebrated when you discover a pattern, a style that is like your signature style.
Mm,
So when I went for my abstract training in my 300 level, it was like a goal I set for myself to find out a particular style. So it just felt like the other style of art I make, just a random thing. It just felt like something is missing.
mm.
It felt like this is not what I should be doing. So during my industrial training, I was trying out many things, seeing which works. There were a lot of crashing, there were a lot of collapsing. But yeah, from when I was just doing normal ceramics, it just felt like I don't like being too random,
Mm.
and I like being out of the box. Somehow in African community or in African society, I think women have been I think they've been placed in a box to an extent. So sometimes it affects me when I'm creating. When I see myself creating random, just normal things, I just feel like no. I
Mm.
feel like I'm not doing justice to the kind of powers and ability I have. So I had to transition, and yeah, from my 300 level up to now, I've been using the belt and the bones, and it's still evolving.
Yes, yes. So which one came first, the belt or the bone?
The belt actually came first. So I was making a flower vase during my industrial training, and it was just a normal vase from Pinterest. I just got an inspiration from Pinterest, and I decided to recreate. So when I was recreating, the manager in the studio, so he came to me and he told me that instead of just creating random things, this is just like copying someone's work. Why not just create something else, something that is you? And so when he said that, I said, okay. I started cutting the vase open in parts. And when I started cutting it, it started falling apart. And I started wondering, what is that one thing that places two things together? So I brought a book and I started writing down, should I use rope? If I use rope, it's more like still common. Should I use a tie? I said no, it doesn't bind to things. Should I use chain? And then I thought of the belt. I'm like, okay, let's see if it works. And then I placed it, and it didn't just work. It came out really perfect. And from then I decided, oh, I can actually do more things with it. That was when I started using the belt. And then for the bone, it was I think it was after my industrial training. So I went to the department. I was at 300 level. So I went to the department, and our 400 level students were having a crit session where they assemble their words and lecturers come to examine, correct them. So a particular student was exploring clay and broom, and he was being corrected to do this, do that. And so while this lecturer was correcting him, there was like an error in speech. So the lecturer said, so next time when you're creating the bones and the clay, and the guy then quickly corrected him, no, that's I'm exploring broom, not bones. And
Mm.
so when that conversation just happened, I was like, okay, boom. I was already looking for a switch. I was already looking for a start on my. So immediately I heard that little conversation, that
Mm.
correction. I left there And I went back. I started trying to see what I can create with the bones, and yeah, that's how it came.
Wow. Wow. That's so crazy because when I think about it and hear your story, it's like a lot of the things that happened were almost like mistakes, or you weren't really meant to hear it, but just by just by happenstance, you happened to hear it. So it's like being divine placement, divine decisions that you made to switch your major, being in the right place at the right time to hear that conversation. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, when I see when I saw the belt, I got just a little bit traumatized because the first thing I think about belts is getting flogged, getting spanked. So, what is the what is there something specific that you want people to think about when they see it, or what do you think about when you think of the belt? Besides, I know you said like connection and conjoining things.
Yeah. So actually, when I was making the write-up, and thinking of the particular material I can join two things, I was thinking long term, and I was thinking deep. And then you see that the belt, like you said, it can be a form of many things, especially in Africa. It
Mm-hmm.
can be a form of connection from African moms to kids. It can be basically anything to bind things together. It
Mm-hmm.
can be an item for freedom, and
Mm-hmm.
it can also be for toxicity, or it's slavery. Because yeah, when you think of it, when people are being held captive, the belts are used sometimes to just tie them up. And then when it comes to sexuality also, there's a fantasy that comes with the belt also. I think there's a kind of sexual practice where you tie your partners, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole lot connected to the belt. You can talk about love with it, you can talk about punishment, you can talk about being captive, freedom. It's something that holds our dresses together, and at the same time, it's something that when you take out of the dress, it can also spoil a whole fashion. So
Mm-hmm.
there's just a whole lot. I'm still exploring, but there's just a whole lot to the belt
Yes,
now.
yes. Barry says that's such a beautiful perspective. Most people just think of whoopings. Yeah.
That's
Right.
the thing, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And that's the beautiful thing about art, though. It can be perceived in so many different ways. Even you making it, you may think one thing and then someone else sees it and they say, oh, like we had to use the belt for this when we were younger, so it reminds me of my childhood or something like that. Just how they say, like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Whatever person, whatever experiences the person who's viewing the art has been through, it can change how they view that art. So that's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, thank you
That-
for sharing that. So I know with your bone series, you were inspired by water and like movement and such. So tell me more about that. Well, first I'll tell you what I think about when I see it. Because I took human anatomy in high school, and we actually dissected a cat. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds really crazy, but we did, and we were able to like look at the muscles and everything like that. That's how we were learning because they're very similar to the muscles in the human. So that's how we were learning it. And I thought about how at first I was like afraid because to see the body of something that used to be living is like kind of scary. Plus, to preserve the bodies, they had to put all these, so it smelled weird. So I remember at first I was like really scared and like barely touching it, being all back, maybe just touching it a little bit. And then we did it for like a whole month. So by the end of the month, I didn't even wear gloves anymore. I'm touching this dead cat and just like, oh, this is this muscle, and turning it around and doing all the things. So it reminds me of just how strong but how fragile our skeletons are. To see the bone just by itself it makes you realize, like, wow, this is what's holding up all of the flesh, all of the muscles and the tendons and everything together. So that's what I think about when I see the bones. How about you?
So aside the little conversation that sparked up my interest in using the bones,
Mm-hmm.
um, my was actually surrounded in a particular thing, which is balance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get this concept from yin and yang. I think that's a Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm.
Two things that can not do, two things that are conflicting but can't do without themselves. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh, so the bones actually are, like you said, the architecture of the body, like the structure of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And when one bone is missing, it deforms the whole. It can deform the whole body or a
Mm-hmm.
particular body. And so I'm trying to speak about balance with it. And like there are a whole lot of there's a lot of things in the world right now that is going so wrong. I actually do not really believe in the concept of good and bad. I believe that both of them work together if placed professionally, if placed rightly. So yeah, when I started using the phones, I was confused. Yeah, I was very confused on like what do I want to say, you know. But just at other point, I just wanted to create something bold, something, something that when it's saying, you would question if it's actually a lady that did it because we ladies they just think we can just make flowers and butterflies and but so like when I started thinking of the concept of balance, I started seeing it from the aspect of the bone being something that builds the body and can also destroy the body because if a particular bone is missing, it's deformed. So I think in everything that happens in the world right now, maybe in crisis, for example, when there's crisis, it always feels like it's something that is missing. Something
Mm-hmm.
is missing. That's like right. It could be peace missing. It could be understanding that is missing. And so I am trying to use my work to like talk about how to balance things,
Mm-hmm.
how to balance peace and the crisis to just form. I'm actually a very big lover of nature. I believe in the source, and then I believe that the nature has given us everything, and the world is actually balanced. But every crisis that happens is just humans trying to be humans and trying
Yes.
to, manipulate things and just
Yes.
so I'm looking for the balance, racial balance, um, gender balance, food balance, because I see a lot of people trying to just focus on processed food and not knowing that they're actually damaging their body. So
Mm-hmm.
my work is just about balance and then the strength in creating balance because yes, the bone is like the strongest part of the body. And then I just want to let the world see how the strength or like how strong the world can be when we actually balance things together instead
Yeah.
of a group of people believing in what is right and a group of people believing in what is wrong. We can
Mm.
actually bring our minds and work together to
Yeah.
form a balance that will strengthen the world.
That was beautiful. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna let that breathe for a moment because that was really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very true. The balance too. And I like repeating sounds, just like that's why this is called Notably Nigerian. So even the fact that it's belt and bone and balance is all together. Do you think you'll ever do a piece that has both belt and bone together?
Sorry, there was a glitch in it, so I didn't hear you.
No worries. I was asking, do you think you'll ever do a piece that has bone and belt together?
Yeah, I've actually thought of that. I thought of that last year, and I presented the ideas to somebody, and they were like, for now, I'm still trying to understand my art practice very well. I'm still trying to see where it leads. So creative ideas can actually fight in our head, and I've thought of
Mm,
them, but then I was being asked, what's the relationship between an organic body and so I've not actually answered that question. So I think when I answer that question, the relationship between the bones and the bell, and then because I just don't want to create art that would sell, I want to pass a message. So until I understand the connection, I think for now I'll just keep making sketches, thinking about it. Yeah, but definitely I'll create something. I'll create the of them together.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, that's beautiful because you're patient with your process. You allow yourself to think about what you're doing and figure out the parallels between the connections between what you're doing. So that's a beautiful thing. And like you said, yeah, sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially as an artist or a creative person when you just have, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So I love the fact that you're so discipline and staying in what you are working on right now. I have a bad habit of just going and doing this and doing this and doing this, and then before you know it, I don't have anything done because I just have a little bit of everything.
It happens to me, so that's why I'm trying not to be confused at this point. So I don't just pack my I don't just pack my creative ideas and just fix them in one walk. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
trying to be careful.
Right, right. So you recently taught me a new word, and it was in your profile, and I was like, it sounds familiar. I could kind of like break down to see what it was, but I still went up and looked up the definition because it says that you are a biophiliac artist, and I'm like, what's that? So just someone who loves nature, right, and the conditions of natural environments and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm that too. I said, oh, I'm a biophiliac too. Um, and there was a reel that you posted where you were talking about like how much do you know about the world and the natural things that God placed here for us? Like, can you read the stars? What do you know about the nearest bodies of water to you and things of that nature? And that was just a beautiful thing because a lot of people can tell you the last time that a celebrity broke up with someone. They can tell you all of the celebrities' children's names and how old they are. They can tell you the next style, the newest trend on social media. But when you ask them, hey, have you been to this park that's 10 minutes from your house? No, nothing. If you say, oh, do you know the name of any of these trees or plants? Nothing.
You don't,
Yeah.
no, no, we don't. I think the world is becoming just too toxic, and especially I would say especially in Nigeria because I've not actually left my country. I think Nigerians are so focused with celebrity talk, social media, our phone. We're just so connected to our phone that we don't even use the phone to do the important things, relevant things. We just go on social media. We look for the part of social media that is flaunting riches and wealth, and then as a Nigerian working hard and struggling to come up, you start pressuring yourself. Oh, I'm not
Mm,
doing, and then you just start looking for things that are way above, things that you cannot handle.
yeah.
Meanwhile, there are so many beautiful things. There are so many beautiful things you can find peace in. You can
Mm,
find peace in nature. I think nature is just it was just God's gift to us. It has
yeah.
everything. People don't just see that part. They don't want to see the peaceful part of it. They just want chaos. And I hope
Yeah.
everyone learns. I hope they learn that, we should
Yeah.
find peace.
Right, right. One thing that I realize is even though I love nature and I see the beauty in nature and I'd rather be in nature than, inside and just soaked into technology is number one is by design. They literally created these things to be addictive. There's actually a lawsuit going on right now that's with Meta. Hopefully, hey, excuse me, y'all. Please don't take the video down just because I'm talking about you. But but there's actually a lawsuit where it was said that they made the apps, social media apps, addictive for children. And it was proven that they did, like
Oh,
consciously, intentionally. They would say, okay, what can we do to make them stay on the apps longer? What can we do to make so it's a crazy thing. So the one thing is that it's by design. So those that are manufacturing it are doing it on purpose. And then number two is that not everyone is meant to be in nature. I know it sounds crazy, but some people are just supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like some people will never care about a tree. Some people will walk
Mm.
by and never know that a rose
They even
smells the
cut
way it
down.
smells.
They even cut trees.
Yeah, but number three is that there are a whole lot more biophiliacs around. We probably just don't know because we're connecting with people so much through the internet. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's hard
Yeah.
to see. They might be in the park right now. They don't even have Instagram. So, but I do believe that, we'll be blessed to meet the people that we're supposed to meet, and we'll be able to go in nature with those people and preserve nature with those people. I believe that there are enough of us who care about the earth and who care about nature to do something about it. So definitely. Yeah. So this is Notably Nigerian. I'm your hostess Akunna, and this is Chinenye Eze, who is a ceramic artist. And since this is Notably Nigerian, we're going to ask you a few questions just about Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So the first question would
Okay.
be, yeah, what is your favorite Nigerian food or drink, or both?
Hmm. I think my I think my favorite food would be yam.
Okay.
But I just like yam. I would say rice, but I think rice is everyone's favorite food. So I think yam, yeah. Yam
Okay.
when it's made in the normal way, in the normal Nigerian way, yam and red oil. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
Just the red oil, not stew, but just the oil?
Yeah, the oil.
Nice. Okay. I like that, but I don't know. There's something to me about yam that's like, it's a little bit too like I'll usually do like like potatoes is similar to yams, but it's the like lighter. I don't know how to explain it. Excuse me. Because when it comes to yam, I
Oh,
can only eat like a little bit, and then I get so full.
I think it happens.
Yeah, yeah. And what about beverage? Do you have a favorite drink that you like?
um, favorite drink. I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do.
Okay,
I
okay.
just I just generally like drinks that are not sugary, that are
Mm,
not very sugary. I
yeah.
just like I know you know this drink we call Zobo, like
Hmm.
from hibiscus. I love
Yes.
that drink. I love it. It is whenever I take other drinks that are not that has sugar in them, it disturbs me a lot. But that
Mm.
one is just yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that.
that's my favorite. That's my favorite too. Awesome. So, if you were to be able to travel to a different or not Nigerian country, a different African country and stay for 1 week, which country would it be and why?
Another African country.
Hmm.
Hmm. I think it will be Uganda,
Oh, okay.
actually. But for for someone that has stayed in a country where we flaunt our culture, yes, but not the way Uganda does it. Sorry. Not just they're just so they're just so proud of their culture, and sometimes when you watch them online you just want to be in that environment at that moment. So if there's anywhere any other African country I would want to visit or go to, it's definitely Uganda.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. I haven't heard or like done very much research about it, but there's definitely so many other countries, not even to mention so many states. Like I'm definitely gonna come to Enugu so I can see you. And there's so many other states that I want to visit, even in Nigeria. So even to start thinking about the African countries is like, whoa.
I've not even gone to, like, there are many states in Nigeria I've not even been to, yeah, for,
Yeah,
you know.
got it. So, I think was it a group of other ceramic artists that you were a part of at one point, or?
Yeah, I'm actually in two ceramic community.
Mhm.
One is the Vision Clay, and the other is the Carbon Clay Collective. So the Carbon Clay Collective is a group of black ceramicists, like black in general, African, just black, as long as you identify as black. The visions in clay are, it's more like the same thing, but this visions in clay is not just black, it's potters in general, ceramics in general. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Now, how important is it to you, or what are some of the benefits that you've seen from being a part of other ceramic communities?
The benefits. Yeah, see, before I graduated from the university, I was very scared of what to do next, though I'm still trying to figure everything out right now. But the benefits from this community is just that they've guided me through the path.
Mm,
You know the difference between going through a process, a long process to a point, and then someone that has gone through that process telling you, "Oh, take this route," it will
mm.
not really end. We started through the part to follow up to now, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Especially, a lot of people use the word community as just to sound away. So that's why I asked it and saying, okay, what are some of the benefits of it? What do you get from being
Uh,
a part of it? And definitely having people that may be more experienced and you don't have to go through the same struggles that they went through, that they can advise you is a beautiful thing. And just seeing you all like support each other. I came to learn about it because I saw you posting one of your fellow community members' work. And I said, oh, okay, so there's a lot of people that do ceramics. So that was a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really blessed.
Yes, yes. So shout out to those communities. Shout out to you all. So, I know that we've spoken a bit about kind of like women, especially just in Nigeria and Africa as a whole, being placed into a box of this is what a woman should do, this is what a woman should not do. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
sometimes it's like, oh, women are supposed to be delicate and this and that, but women
sorry.
are actually very strong. If you think about the just even giving birth, going through labor, most of the time, a man cannot even handle that. I love men, by the way. I'm not bashing men. But um, what I see from that is even being a ceramic artist, that is hard work. I've seen some of the videos where you're processing the clay, and I'm like, that looks like a whole workout. So tell me more about the process that you go through, because I know that maybe there's some clay that is like more raw, that you have to kind of work more. Tell me about the process of actually getting the clay to where you can work with it.
I think in other countries, what they do is, I think there are companies that just process clay and just sell it out. But here in Nigeria, we get it directly from the source. I think we use wild clay in the, so we get it from the source, we process it, we soak it, we sieve it, we spread, and it actually takes a lot of time. It takes a
Mm,
lot of time. It's exhausting, but then it's something you have to do. I mean, when I was still in school, it was like one of the toughest things to do because then you have to go at night already the whole day, afternoon, that cover the classes and other things. So you have to come at night to do all
mm.
the sieving. It is tough. It is
Yeah.
actually tough. You don't need to go to the gym as a potter because you're doing a lot of you're doing a
Yeah.
lot of work. Right? It's
Right.
actually tough. But I think as you keep doing it, you get used to it, and it's no longer that very stressful.
Mm, mm. Okay. So you have to make me one promise that One promise.
Okay.
You're like, what is she going to say? So when I come to Enugu, you have to let me do it
Okay.
with you. I want to process it.
No problem. No problem at all.
She said, stay as
There's
long as you want.
you can.
Awesome. Because to me, I love just how we talk about nature and caring about trees and how like a leaf can be soap is one thing you mentioned in that reel. Just seeing how something starts and the transition to getting to how it becomes later. That's something that I'm so interested in. And that is why Adobe says, me too. Does that mean you want to come? Okay, come to we're going to have a clay processing party. um, but that's part of why I love having these conversations because now, before this, I just looked at your art and I love that. And I love what you talked about, that you're a good person. But now I know that you've loved doing art. Now I know how you decided to do the bones and the belts. Like having that information to me just makes everything more beautiful. So I would absolutely love to, even though the process is hard, I'll stretch beforehand, but I would love to come process that with you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yes. Okay. So I want to talk, I know we're getting close to time, but I want to talk just a little bit more about, I have two different things. One is more about your process. So what you talked about doing sketches and such. So is it every piece that you're making that you do sketch first? Is that part of your process? Or sometimes do you just take the clay in your hands and just start making something?
So actually, I think I make sketches when I want to create works for maybe an exhibition or a competition. But aside that, when I want to do my personal works, I just let the ideas flow because I think sometimes when I make sketches, for me, when I make sketches, it's restricting
Mm-hmm.
because when I start to work, I feel like, okay, it's supposed to go this way. Why is it not going this way? But when there is no sketch, I know I have liberty. I have the freedom to just make things. So I only make sketches when maybe I want to do an exhibition so that it will guide me. And when I get lost at a point, I can easily just come back so I don't miss out on the story or the team I'm working with. Yeah.
I see.
But it doesn't always I don't always sketch, like not every time.
Mm-hmm. What seems like what you do use a lot is like jotting down ideas and stuff.
Yes, writing down is better. It's just I think when I write down what maybe I wake up in the midnight and I get an idea, I just write it down. So when
Mm.
I'm creating the and maybe if I wrote down about water or water flow or anything, and then I'm creating the words, I start looking for okay, there is no flow in this and this that. I
Mm.
think writing is more than sketching because sketching is so restricting. But strangely, it helps other artists. I don't know. My case just seems to be different every time. But
Yeah.
yeah, writing is better for me.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what makes you unique, having your specific process that you go through. Because for me, I completely understand that it seems a little bit restrictive. Because once you draw it in a certain way, now you feel like you must create it to look like the drawing, versus just jotting down your ideas and saying, okay, like you said, I want this to have flow. And then you can reference it back and look, okay, this isn't flowing very much. What can I do to change it? Instead of saying, oh, I must make it this way. So even just by the way that you live your life and what you want to do within your art, that all speaks of liberation, just even beyond your art and what you think about the world as well. So that's a beautiful thing and it's great to see that reflected within your process and the works that you create.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, definitely. So you received, I think that both of these were in 2025, two awards. So one from the University of Nigeria. Is it Nsukka?
Yeah. Yes.
I like that. What does that mean? I might name my child that. No, I shouldn't.
No.
Okay, maybe not.
It's,
Maybe not. It's a beautiful word, though.
it's just the name of the town where the university is. It's the name of this town.
Okay, I like it. So you won an award from them, from the arts department of the best ceramic student, and then you also got an award from LimCAF, and that was the most creative female artist. And from speaking to you right now, I know that you don't do your art to be celebrated. You do your art because it's a passion of yours and something that you love, and there's a message that you want to bring to the world. But how does it feel to be recognized, even though that wasn't what you wanted to do?
You know, most times sometimes I just don't want to come to social media to post my words because there's a thin line between being an artist and switching to being a content creator. And being a content creator is not what I want to be.
Mm,
I do people do things because they are content creators. People come online, they lie, they say, although I know you impact people by being a content creator, but I just want to be an artist. Like I just feel like artists, the artists of the old or artists back in history, there was no technology, there was no social media, but then they created history, they made impact and everything. But at the same time, our phones has become something that we're so tied to. So it feels like people hardly read, or there is no other way to just show people that this is the message you're trying to push out. I mean, the message is for them. The message is not for the artist to just see the message, and it's for people. So if social media is not there, there's no way we can reach out to people. So we need to be honest. Those awards last year, I didn't expect them. I know I worked so hard. I worked I worked hard to breaking point, but I just a part of me just didn't believe that it was just going to happen. But then when it happened, it gained I gained a kind of visibility, and so people are just now looking forward to see what next I create. And so, before I was thinking, no, I don't want social media. I just want to stay on social media. But now that people have seen me on social media and they are now expecting what next, I feel like, okay, this message I have to pass to the world can actually be passed now because I now have an audience and there are people who are like just waiting to hear what it is about. So yeah, it's also a transition from no, I don't want that, but the awards were like no, the worst because even before I got on the stage after receiving the award from Lisa, before I got that, my phone was just buzzing, calls, texts, like
um,
I don't even know how, but I don't know how it the information got out to people that I won this award, and people were just calling and texting.
yeah,
So yeah, I feel whatever is supposed to happen must happen, and
yeah,
whatever the universe says you will do, it will happen. So,
yes,
so if it says you're going to be on social media and share your message to the world, then I'm all for it.
yes, yes. Ah, that's so beautiful. And especially you ending with that because that's how I became connected with you. I just saw you on my timeline one day working with Clay, and I'm like, oh, who's this? So there are definitely great things about it.
Thank you.
Yes. And congratulations on those awards. They're definitely well deserved, especially because the intention behind you doing the art is not for the recognition. And I feel like those who do it for the love of it, those are the ones that deserve the accolades, not the ones that are just searching for the accolades.
Actually,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. So, before we close, is there anything else that you want to share?
Is there? I don't know. I have not done this before, but um, I know there are new people that seeing me for the first time, and I'm happy to be here. I want to thank you for this great opportunity, and I also want to thank the people that joined the live today. It's I was shaking at the beginning of the call because I've not actually done this before, but just few minutes into the call, I became relaxed. And yeah, for people watching me right now, there are bigger things coming this year, both from my end, both from Akunna. They are just, I feel like you're in the right space.
Yes.
And for people that want to connect to truth and connect to what is real and what is authentic and not just social media rowdiness, people
Right.
that want to connect, I think you're actually in the right space. And so just watch out for what I'll create, what Apple will create, and we love you so much. I love you. Apple, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. That was beautifully said. Beautifully said. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. And I trust that this year is going to bring such wonderful things for you.
Okay,
All
I'll try my best.
right. Bye. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you.
I
Bye. All righty. So that was wonderful. That was, you know, when you talk to someone and you can just feel their passion like emanating out of them, like I just love that. I love that. Just like I shared, that's how she came across my timeline one day, and I was just like, "Oh, wow, she's like doing ceramics." And as I went to her page, she was it wasn't just the art, but it was also the message behind it. So it's been such a beautiful journey, and I trust that it will continue to be one. Make sure that you follow Chinenye on her page to see what she has coming up. This has been Notably Nigerian, episode number 4. I am your hostess, Akunna, and we will be back next week with another episode. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace.